So I talk a lot on this channel and over on the blog about the different rewards you can get from different current accounts. So you can get money from Halifax, money from NatWest, money from RBS, money from Barclays, money from Co-op, money from TSB, freebies from Lloyds. All these different accounts will give you something in return for, on the whole, not always, but on the whole, very little effort. You might have to pay in a certain amount of money every month. You might have to pay out some direct debits. There might be a fee to pay as well, which can kind of reduce how much you get. And this is kind of like essentially, it's easy money. It's passive income. If you have this account and you follow those rules and you automate it as much as you can, this is just money coming in every single month. The question I get asked a lot though, is it worth it? Are you really going to make that much money over a year that it makes you going for all of this really worth the time and the effort? Are you better off just enjoying yourself, kicking back and not worrying about it? So what I want to do in this video is show you each of those kind of key reward accounts here in the UK, how much money you can get, and then total it up to give you an idea exactly what that might look like over a year if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 accounts for yourself. I'll also be sharing with you how potentially you might be able to get even more on top of that. So let's get into it. Let's kick off. I'll jump straight over into this Google Sheet that I have prepared, and we can have a look at what you can get. So let's start off with the Halifax reward account. Again, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail on every single one of these. If you want more information about each of the accounts, then do check out my huge article that I've got over on becleverwithyourcash.com. You click over there, it's on the home page, the best bank switching, reward, offers, overdrafts, all that kind of stuff. All there, all the details you need. This is just going to give you kind of an overview. Let's have a look at this Halifax reward account then first of all, shall we? So what can you get from this account? So the reward on this one is probably the highest paying one. This is the one that if you're only going to have one reward account, this is the one that I would go for. So let's have a look. Well, you can get £5 a month. I put zero fee because there is a fee, but you can avoid that very, very easily. Just to pay £1,500 in every single month, that fee is gone. So for all intents and purposes, as long as you do that, £5 a month. Over a year, what are we looking at here? Well, obviously we know it's going to be a £5 a month profit, don't we? Because there's no fee. Over a year, 60 quid. So if you have this account, you get 60 quid over a year. Now, there are other rewards you can get which could be worth more money. You could get 12 cinema tickets, 24 movie rental vouchers. They obviously could be worth a lot more money. I'm sticking here just the cold hard cash because you can do what you like with that money. But bear that in mind. If you have, if you want one of those other offers, you're going to use those other offers, it could be worth even more money. Let's have a look next at the Santander 123 Lite account. Again, I did a whole new video about this just a few weeks ago, which takes you through exactly how this one works. So do check that one out. I will link to it below as well. The Santander 123 Lite account, this is cash back on your bills. So the amount of money you'll get will vary. For me, it's closer to about £5.50, £5.80, maybe towards £6 that I would get every single month. But I'm pretty good with my bills. Yeah, I've got some lower bills. Don't have any pay TV bills. Some people, they're going to be paying a lot more money on top of that. So I've put in here just as an estimate, I think most people are going to be looking at 6, 7, maybe 8 quid, possibly over a year. There is a £2 fee that comes out of that. So I put here an annual profit of 60 quid from this account as well. Now, as I said, for me, I would get less than this. You might get more than this, but I think this is a good catch-all figure. And it shows you 60 quid a year on par with that Halifax rewards. Potentially more, potentially a little bit less. But again, a decent account to be going for. So already, that's 120 quid you've got from having these two current accounts. Not too bad, right? 120 quid. Then we've got, let's look at these three all together. These are the Barclays Blue, the NatWest reward, and the RBS reward. And the reason I'm lumping these ones together is because they essentially do the same thing, more or less. Barclays Blue, you get £7 as long as you have 2 direct debits. I'll go through some of the requirements quickly in a minute. £7, but there's a £4 fee, right? So you're getting £3. NatWest and RBS, they are essentially the same account, but you can have one of each. You can have a NatWest reward account and an RBS reward account. Follow the requirements there, you get a £5 reward, knock off the £2 fee, £3 a month. So all of those ones, if you had all 3 of those accounts, you would get £9 a month, 36 quid a year on each of those, which is what, 90, 112, £108 a year, which is, again, not bad at all. Not bad at all, okay? Okay, more accounts, more requirements, and I'll get to that in a second. but it's starting to look a little bit tastier, right? Having more than one of these accounts. 36 quid on its own doesn't sound great, but when you put it all together, I think a lot more appealing. Then let's look at Club Lloyds now. Again, I mentioned at the top, this one is slightly different because this one doesn't give you any cash. It gives you a freebie of some kind. It could be a cinema ticket, 6 cinema tickets a year, 12 movie rentals, or a magazine subscription, or a Gourmet Society membership. So I've put the figure for that in at £3.50 a month. I think that's probably fair, depending on which one you go for. If it's 6 cinema tickets, let's give them a value of £7. Could be worth more depending on your cinema. Movie rentals could be worth more, but there are ways to bring that price down. You can get them for less if you follow some of the tricks and deals. I've written loads about this over on the blog. And the magazine rental subscription, for the year, again, through say £3.50. So that's worth, I would say, 40, 45 quid over a 12-month period, having that freebie. So these are kind of, I think, the core 6 reward accounts. These are the ones that I think if you're willing to put in that little bit of effort at the beginning to open them up and then go through the different requirements. Let's have a look at those now. Let's look at these requirements across the board. Again, I'm not going to go into all the details here. This is just the bulk of the requirements. You've got to make sure when you apply that you read all the small print anyway. You should be doing this any time you watch a video. One of mine, read an article where you make sure you do double check everything because you never quite know if things have changed. But anyway, these 6 I think are relatively easy to get to have them. So I mentioned before with that Halifax reward, you have to pay in £1,500 a month to get that one, to avoid the fee, that fee that comes into it, but also to be eligible for the reward. And that kind of minimum pay-in is something you see across a lot of them. Santander wants 500 paid in. Club Lloyds wants 1,500 again paid in to avoid having that fee taken away. But that's kind of really easy to do. If you watch the video that I released, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago about how to manage multiple current accounts, you'll show I've got different methods there that you can circle the same amount of money around. So you don't need to have, for those 3 accounts, 3.5 grand. You can just do 1,500 into one, into the other, 500 into the other. Or you could do it with 500, but put it 3 times into Halifax, in, out, 500 into Santander, 500 3 times into Club Lloyd. So you can do this. Everyone can do this. And this is the important thing about all these accounts I'm talking about here. These really are easy for everyone. You don't need to have loads of cash. You just need some money, some salary coming in or some money in savings that you can move around. The other key thing, direct debits. Again, talked a lot about this in that other video, so do check that out. I've got ideas of where you can possibly find extra direct debits if you've used them all up already. But you need to, for example, have with Barclays Blue, again, don't know why it's not come through here. Barclays Blue has, again, 2 direct debits that you have to have for that one. 2 direct debits in RBS, 2 direct debits in Nationwide. Santander also requires 2 direct debits. That's a minimum. If you want to be looking at that £7, £5 to £7 every single month, you want to be getting 5 or 6 direct debits. Your core bills, your council tax, your broadband bill, your mobile phone bill, your energy bill, your water bill, and if you've got a pay TV bill, that as well. Obviously, if you don't have them, you won't earn the money. So that's a really important one there. And you can see a couple of them have got a few extra things. Log into your mobile app, go paperless, a little bit different. The Halifax reward one has a little bit more effort that you might have to put into this. There are a few ways you can get that £5 reward. You can keep 5 grand in that account all the time. I think that's a no-goer. Don't do that. Instead, you can spend £500 on your debit card every single month. A couple of ways you can use that debit card purchase. Use it to pay off your cashback credit card, or use it to transfer money into an account like Money's or to Revolut, or maybe a connected chip savings account. You pay that money in and you can send it back as well if you want. So a bit of manual work you might have to do to get that one, but it is the highest paying one. So all of those together, that's pretty good, isn't it? You could do all of that and you could easily be getting 270 quid a year, give or take, again on that Santander cashback account, 270 quid a year from those 6 accounts. I think that's pretty good, right? I think that will say it's worth it for the small amount of money. But you can, if you want, take it a next step along. And that's because there are a couple of other reward accounts. There are the TSB Spend and Save accounts and the Co-operative Bank Everyday Reward accounts. Now, I've put these separate, these accounts, because personally, I'm not bothering with these. But I'm going to give you that option, show you exactly what you could get, and if you wanted to make that money, what they're worth. So let's have a look. Let's just give us the TSB ones, get all the information out there straight off so we can go through those. TSB Spend and Save, you get £5 a month cash back. This is limited to the first 6 months, okay? So just the first 6 months. That's 30 quid you'll get from that. In order to get this, you have to make 30 debit card transactions in the calendar month. That's why I'm not bothered with this. Okay, so you can jump through a few little hacks if you want to. You can use that to sort of top up, again, other kind of, talk about debit card purchases. It could be sending money to Plum, spending money to Revolut or Monese. You can do that 30 times. Is it worth it? I think it's a bit too much effort just for the sake of getting 30 quid over 6 months, but you can do that if you want. The TSB Spend and Save Plus doesn't have that limit of 6 months. You get that £5 every single month as long as you do those 30 debit card transactions, but it comes with a £3 a month fee. So actually, you'd get less money going straight to that account than you would going to the free version. Okay, it's ridiculous. But you could potentially, once you've done that first 6 months on the Spend and Save, upgrade it to the Spend and Save Plus, and then you'd be looking at getting yourself £12 for the remainder of that year. So over a year, those two accounts would obviously get you £42. Again, I'm not going to bother with this one. If you are interested in it, make sure you go via the cashback site Quidco, because you can get between 30 and 60 quid, sometimes even more, cashback for opening that account on top of this Spend and Save account's own monthly reward. Okay, so you can get a little bit extra there. Not factored that one in here, but it's worth considering. Then we have the Co-operative Bank Everyday Rewards. Now this actually is changing in July. So I'm going with the figures you can get from the 1st of July 2021. You can get £2.20 every month, maximum. And that's because £1 of that is guaranteed if you meet the requirements here, such as 4 direct debits, paying £800, keeping the balance above zero. That's just some of those requirements for that one. Quite a lot just to get a quid. And then if you want another £1.20, well, you have to use your debit card 60 times. Every time you use your debit card, you'll get a 2p reward. So you might not actually get up to that entire extra £1.20, but you might. Okay, but again, I don't think these ones are massively worth it here. So let's have a look. Again, let's just double check what you can get for passive income from these current accounts if you're going to have them. So there we go. As you see, £338 is the most you could possibly get if you had all of those different accounts. So these 6 all year round, Spend and Save, then a Spend and Save Plus, and also the Co-operative Bank one again all year round. £338 from, 8 or 9 different accounts in a year. Not too bad. But again, like I said, realistically, I would scrap these 3 here, and I would be looking at just this one. Just having 270 quid return, which is what you would get for those 6 accounts. 270 quid. I think it's worth doing. Okay, so that's the very basic. That's how much you can earn from the different reward accounts. And you might be going, hang on, what about the Virgin Money M Plus account? What about the interest you can get there? What about the interest you can get on the Club Lloyds account? What about something this and that or that? I've not done any of the ones that earn interest. Yes, earning interest essentially is passive income from your current account, but you have to have the money there in the first place, and there might be different options. So I'm focused here just on the reward accounts. Don't forget as well, you might be able to get more money from switching bonuses. Halifax has had one this year already. NatWest hasn't, RBS hasn't, Club Lloyds haven't, but I would imagine they will probably introduce those again at some point in 2021. So you might be able to even top that up even more. But this is fundamentally just about those rewards, that easy income that comes every single year. But that's not it. You might be able to get more than one of these accounts. And the way around this is basically if you have a partner, someone who you can open up a joint account with. And some of these accounts will let you have a joint account. And if you do that, you can get those rewards again. So let's see which ones offer this. Not too many of them give you a joint account, but Halifax Reward does. So that's an extra 60 quid you could have potentially by having this joint account. Again, the same criteria, but as we've established and I've spoken about in other videos, you can get around those extra £1,500 quite easily. You can get around that £500 debit card spend by transferring money as a top up. You can get around that, so it's not going to be a problem particularly. Similarly with the Club Lloyds, again, it's just transferring the money in. You can have this in a personal account and a joint account. So that's maybe more cinema tickets, more movie rentals, and a different magazine subscription, or a mix of those. So again, essentially worth those two an extra 100 quid. Now, the Spend and Save, it doesn't say you can have more than one of these, but it does explicitly say you can have an extra, if you want, Spend and Save Plus account, one personal and one joint account. Now, if we're considering that to be something over a 12-month period rather than 6s, obviously it doubles what we had before. You'd get 24 quid. But you still have to make those 30 transactions every single month on top of those other 30 transactions if you've got the solo Spend and Save Plus account. So again, you might want to think about that. And similarly, the Co-operative Bank Everyday Rewards, it says that this can be added to any eligible account. I can't find confirmation exactly that you can't have more than one of these. So potentially you could have a number of them. But I think, again, as I said, the effort that you have to go through to keep adding these in makes it not worthwhile at all. So I've done that kind of splits again on exactly what you might get from these. 152 quid potentially if you had an extra joint account on all of those. But realistically, I think it's an extra £102. So what did we have before up here? We had 270. So if you were to do this to have just those basic 6 accounts for getting the TSB, for getting the cooperative bank ones, we are currently now on £372. Free money, essentially free money. Now, obviously, if you're able to open up joint accounts with someone else, probably a partner, but it could be somebody else, family member, a friend. Be really careful about who you do this with, because there are all sorts of pros and cons of joint accounts. But if you're doing it just for these rewards, then, great, extra 100 quid. But if you can do that, then obviously they could do exactly the same as well. They could open up their own accounts as well. So again, appreciate if you're on your own and you can't do this, that would be a problem. But let's have a look exactly what they could do as well. All of these accounts could be opened again by your partner. So essentially we're doubling the amount of money in that initial thing. The big caveat here obviously is the Santander 123 Lite. You're only going to get the cash back on the bills paid out of that account. So there's no point having more than one of these. This is literally one account you have. In fact, it probably makes sense because it's a bills account to make it a joint account anyway, rather than have it in one person's name, make it a joint account. But there we go. All these things, double it up again, and we are getting an even more money on top. Again, I've kind of split it out for you if you want to go absolutely crazy and you want to have the more of these cooperative bank accounts, more of these TSB spend and saves. But an extra 278 that your partner, your friend, whoever it is, have their own solo accounts will be able to get on top of your solo accounts and on top of your joint accounts. Realistically though, I'm going to put that figure at £210 for getting these accounts as well. So obviously we are tallying up quite a number of different accounts here, a lot of money being transferred around, a lot of extra direct debits potentially, but you can manage that quite easy. If you're struggling to find those accounts yourself, don't forget there's that video that I did make a few weeks ago, which kind of shares again some of those tips and those tricks for extra direct debits and moving that money around. So if you went for all of those accounts, yourself, joint account and another person, £769 that you would make in 12 months. Take out the TSB and cooperative accounts, £582. So there you go. Hopefully that's given you enough information to make that decision. Can you really make a decent passive income from your banks? We aren't talking life-changing amounts of money here, but once you put that initial effort in, that first time you open up that account, and that generally isn't too much. You've got to apply online most of the time and it's confirmed. Sometimes there might be a little bit of paperwork back and forth, but it's very, very rare that happens. You do that, you automate the money moving around, you automate the direct debits and remind yourself to log into the app, which takes 20 seconds once a month or whatever, depending, I say, on those requirements from those different accounts. You do all of that, you remember to do that, and that just carries on. Month after month after month, you will be getting that cash. And I think it's well worth doing it for at least 2 or 3 of those accounts. The Halifax reward account, the Santander 123 Lite account, absolutely, I think, no brainers. I think the Club Lloyds one as well, that's a really easy one to get because you literally have nothing to do. Once you've opened it up, as long as you are putting £1,500 into that account every month, and again, it can come straight back out again. As long as you're doing that, you're going to get a free magazine, free movie rentals, free cinema tickets, something like that. It makes absolute sense, I think, to do that. Now, you might want to wait. You might want to try and time it when bank switching offers are available. Again, we haven't had one this year from NatWest or RBS or Lloyds. I would expect at some point this year that will come along. You might want to wait, although in the past those banks have let you switch into an existing account. So you might want to risk it, open it up now, start getting your freebie, your free reward, and then switch later on. Obviously, the Halifax rewards have just finished, but that one might come back, that bank switching. Whereas the Santander 123 Lite, I wouldn't hold around. I would just get that account as soon as. And like I said, I personally wouldn't worry too much about the spend and save accounts. Maybe get that free one for 6 months, get the 30 quid there. If you're able and willing to make 30 debit card transactions, get that cash back from Quidco. And then after 6 months, that's one that you can just use to switch for bonuses elsewhere. But I wouldn't necessarily bother going any further, particularly with the Spend and Save Plus and the Cooperative Bank Everyday Rewards accounts. But if you did want to, then you could be looking at, an extra 50, 60 quid a year for yourself, even more if you have multiple accounts within your household. Now, if you want more information about any of these accounts, do check out the article I've got over on the blog. I will link to it up here and I will link to it below the article as well. This will take you through pros and cons, requirements, different offers, different promos for all of these bank accounts and many, many more with things like interest on savings, interest-free overdrafts, all that kind of stuff. If you found this useful, if you think you're going to make a little bit of money from this, please do hit subscribe and that little notification bell and leave me a comment below. Hit that thumbs up button and tell me exactly what you are doing to get a little bit extra money from your bank. My name's Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.